The Interpretation of Dreams. Book by Sigmund Freud. Detailed Summary. Chapter 1. The Scientific Literature on the Problems of Dreams. Chapter 1 of The Interpretation of Dreams, by Sigmund Freud, titled The Scientific Literature on the Problems of Dreams, provides an overview of the existing research and theories on dreams up until the time of Freud's writing. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. In this introductory chapter, Freud begins by acknowledging that the scientific study of dreams was relatively neglected compared to other areas of psychology and psychiatry. He notes that this neglect is partly due to the complexity and subjective nature of dreams. However, Freud believes that dreams have significant psychological meanings and that their interpretation can provide valuable insights into the workings of the unconscious mind. Freud discusses early historical accounts of dreams and their interpretations, noting that ancient civilizations such as the Egyptians and Greeks considered dreams to be of great importance. He mentions notable figures from the past who explored the field of dream interpretation, including Artemidorus, a Greek author who wrote a comprehensive guide to dream interpretation. Moving forward in time, Freud highlights several influential figures who have contributed to the study of dreams. He mentions philosopher Immanuel Kant's view that dreams are a result of a veil of illusion created by the mind during sleep. Freud also discusses the works of philosophers like Schopenhauer and Herbart, who considered dreams to be meaningless and random mental phenomena. Freud then shifts his focus to more recent scientific literature on dreams. He acknowledges the work of French psychologist Alfred Maury, who studied the relationship between dreams and external stimuli. Maury's research suggested that dreams often incorporate sensory experiences from the dreamer's immediate environment. Freud introduces a significant influence on his own thinking, the German psychiatrist and philosopher Gustav Theodor Fechner. Fechner proposed that dreams represent unfulfilled desires and argued for the importance of studying dreams to gain insights into the unconscious mind. Freud also mentions various physiological theories related to dreams, including those put forth by German physiologists like Johannes Müller and Hermann von Helmholtz. These theories focused on the physical processes of the brain during sleep and dreaming but did not delve into the psychological significance of dreams. Freud criticizes the previous scientific literature on dreams for its limited scope and failure to fully explore the psychological aspects of dreaming. He argues that dreams should be studied as psychological phenomena rather than mere physiological or random mental events. In conclusion, Chapter 1 sets the stage for Freud's exploration of dream interpretation and the unveiling of his own theories. It highlights the historical and contemporary scientific literature on dreams, acknowledging both the significance and limitations of prior work. Freud's emphasis on the psychological and symbolic nature of dreams paves the way for the subsequent chapters where he introduces his groundbreaking ideas about dream analysis and the unconscious mind. Chapter 2. The Method of Interpreting Dreams, an Analysis of a Specimen Dream. Chapter 2 of The Interpretation of Dreams, by Sigmund Freud is titled, The Method of Interpreting Dreams, an Analysis of a Specimen Dream. In this chapter, Freud provides a detailed exploration of his method for interpreting dreams by analyzing a specific dream as an example. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by emphasizing the importance of studying the individual dream as a unique psychological expression. He argues that each dream is a product of the dreamer's unique experiences, desires, and unconscious processes, making it essential to examine dreams on an individual basis. To illustrate his method, Freud presents the analysis of a dream from one of his patients, referred to as Irma's injection. He describes the dream in detail, including its content and the emotions associated with it. The dream involves a complex scenario where Freud himself examines a patient named Irma and is troubled by the outcome of the treatment. Freud explains that dream analysis involves uncovering the latent content hidden beneath the manifest content of the dream. The manifest content represents the dream as experienced by the dreamer, while the latent content represents the underlying unconscious desires and conflicts that give rise to the dream. Freud explores various aspects of the dream, including the symbols, images, and associations within it. He highlights the importance of free association, where the dreamer freely associates thoughts and feelings related to the dream elements, to reveal the underlying unconscious material. In the case of Irma's injection, Freud uncovers a range of associations related to the dream's content. He discusses the significance of symbols such as the injection, the patient Irma, and other individuals mentioned in the dream. Through the associations provided by the dreamer, Freud unravels the hidden meanings and unconscious conflicts represented by these symbols. Freud introduces the concept of displacement, explaining how the dream's content may disguise the true meaning by shifting the emphasis from one element to another. He explores the displacement evident in Irma's injection and how it relates to the dreamer's unresolved feelings and conflicts. The chapter also touches upon the concept of condensation, whereby multiple thoughts, desires, and emotions are condensed into a single dream image or symbol. Freud demonstrates how condensation operates in the analyzed dream, pointing out how various elements symbolically represent a multitude of unconscious associations. Freud concludes the chapter by emphasizing that the interpretation of dreams requires both intuition and scientific analysis. He highlights the importance of the analyst's ability to tap into their own unconscious processes to understand the hidden meanings in the dream. In summary, Chapter 2 provides a detailed demonstration of Freud's method for interpreting dreams through the analysis of a specific dream. It introduces key concepts such as manifest and latent content, symbols, displacement, and condensation. By dissecting the dream and exploring the associations and unconscious material behind its elements, Freud showcases the depth and complexity of dream analysis as a means to access the unconscious mind. Chapter 3. A dream is the fulfillment of a wish. Chapter 3 of The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud is titled, A Dream is the Fulfillment of a Wish. In this chapter, Freud introduces his fundamental theory that dreams are wish fulfillments and explores the various ways in which dreams fulfill our unconscious desires. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by highlighting the puzzling nature of dreams and the need to uncover their hidden meanings. He proposes that dreams are not meaningless or random, but rather fulfillments of our unconscious wishes. Dreams, according to Freud, allow us to experience and gratify desires that may be repressed or unfulfilled in our waking life. Freud argues that the fulfillment of wishes in dreams can be understood in two ways, through the manifest content and the latent content. The manifest content refers to the actual events, images, and experiences we recall upon waking, while the latent content represents the symbolic or hidden meanings behind those manifest elements. The interpretation of dreams requires a shift from focusing solely on the manifest content to uncovering the latent content and the unconscious wishes it represents. Freud suggests that the process of dream interpretation involves deciphering the symbolic language of dreams, in which repressed desires are disguised and transformed into dream images. Freud discusses various examples and case studies to illustrate how dreams fulfill wishes. He emphasizes that dreams often express forbidden or socially unacceptable desires that are unacceptable to the conscious mind. Through the process of distortion and symbolism, these desires find expression in the dream while remaining hidden from conscious awareness. The concept of wish fulfillment extends beyond explicit desires to include more complex psychological processes. Freud explores dreams that fulfill wishes related to childhood experiences, unresolved conflicts, and fantasies. Dreams provide a symbolic arena where these unfulfilled wishes can be expressed, explored, and potentially resolved. Freud acknowledges that not all dreams are pleasant or enjoyable. Nightmares and anxiety dreams, for example, may seem contrary to the idea of wish fulfillment. However, he suggests that even unpleasant dreams can be traced back to underlying wishes, albeit wishes related to the release of repressed fears or anxieties. Freud emphasizes the importance of understanding the symbolic language of dreams to grasp their underlying wishes. Symbols in dreams can take various forms, such as objects, people, or actions, and their interpretation requires an understanding of personal associations and cultural influences. In conclusion, Chapter 3 introduces Freud's central theory that dreams are wish fulfillments. It explores the distinction between manifest and latent content, highlighting the need to decipher the symbolic language of dreams to uncover unconscious desires. Freud argues that dreams serve as a psychological outlet for repressed or unfulfilled wishes, providing a safe space for their expression and exploration. This chapter lays the foundation for further exploration of dream analysis and the complex interplay between conscious and unconscious desires in the subsequent chapters of the book. Chapter 4. Distortion in Dreams. Chapter 4 of The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud is titled, Distortion in Dreams. In this chapter, Freud explores the concept of distortion in dreams and how it influences the manifest content, or the actual events and images experienced in dreams. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by stating that dreams are not transparent reflections of our unconscious wishes, but rather they undergo distortion during the dream formation process. This distortion serves to disguise and transform the true meaning of the dream, making it more acceptable to the conscious mind. The primary source of distortion in dreams, according to Freud, is the censorship mechanism of the mind. This censorship acts as a filter that alters the latent content, or the underlying unconscious wishes, to make them suitable for presentation in the manifest content. Freud identifies several mechanisms of distortion in dreams. The first mechanism is condensation, in which multiple thoughts, desires, and emotions are compressed into a single dream image or symbol. Through condensation, the dream condenses various aspects of the dreamer's unconscious into concise and often enigmatic dream elements. The second mechanism is displacement, in which the emotional significance of a particular unconscious desire is transferred onto a different, less threatening object or event in the dream. Displacement serves to redirect the dreamer's attention away from the actual source of desire and onto a safer substitute. Freud also discusses secondary elaboration, which involves the mind's effort to create a coherent narrative out of the fragmented and distorted elements of the dream. Secondary elaboration further obscures the true meaning of the dream and makes it appear more logical and cohesive upon waking. Freud emphasizes that the process of distortion in dreams is not random but rather guided by specific psychological principles. The censorship mechanism works in conjunction with the dream work, a process through which the unconscious desires are transformed into dream images and narratives. The distortion in dreams serves the purpose of wish fulfillment while simultaneously protecting the dreamer from the potentially disruptive or distressing nature of the unconscious desires. It allows the dreamer to experience the fulfillment of wishes in a disguised and symbolic form. Freud illustrates the concept of distortion through various examples and case studies, highlighting the complex ways in which latent content is transformed and disguised in dreams. He emphasizes that dream analysis requires unraveling these distortions to uncover the true meaning and underlying wishes. In conclusion, Chapter 4 delves into the concept of distortion in dreams. Freud elucidates how the censorship mechanism and various mechanisms of distortion, such as condensation, displacement, and secondary elaboration, shape the manifest content of dreams. Understanding these mechanisms is crucial in the interpretation of dreams as it helps uncover the hidden desires and conflicts that are symbolically represented in the dream. Chapter 5. The Material and Sources of Dreams. Chapter 5 of The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud is titled The Material and Sources of Dreams. In this chapter, Freud explores the material and sources from which dreams are derived, shedding light on the origins of dream content. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by stating that the material of dreams originates from various sources, both recent and remote. He argues that dreams are not solely based on recent events or experiences but are also influenced by memories, desires, and fantasies that may date back to early childhood. Freud introduces the concept of day residues, which refers to the impressions and experiences of the waking state that continue to influence dream content. Day residues can include recent events, thoughts, emotions, or sensory stimuli that leave a trace in the mind and find their way into dreams. While day residues provide immediate material for dreams, Freud emphasizes that the true sources of dream content lie in the unconscious. Unconscious material includes repressed desires, conflicts, and fantasies that may have been forgotten or pushed out of conscious awareness. Freud explores the role of memory in dream formation, highlighting how memories from different periods of life can contribute to dream content. He suggests that even seemingly insignificant memories can resurface in dreams and become transformed into symbolic representations of unconscious wishes. Freud discusses the influence of childhood experiences, particularly early sexual and emotional experiences, on dream content. He proposes that these early experiences play a significant role in shaping unconscious desires and contribute to the material of dreams throughout one's life. The chapter also explores the concept of dream sources, which are the experiences and memories that serve as the basis for dream content. Dream sources can be recent or remote, personal or collective, and can include past events, childhood memories, and cultural influences. Freud introduces the notion of dream work, which refers to the psychological processes that transform the raw material of dreams into the manifest content. Dream work involves mechanisms such as condensation, displacement, and symbolism, which distort and transform the dream material to fulfill unconscious wishes. Freud emphasizes that dream analysis requires tracing back the manifest content to its underlying dream sources and unconscious material. By uncovering the sources and meanings of dream content, one can gain insights into the unconscious desires, conflicts, and fantasies that shape the dream. In conclusion, Chapter 5 explores the material and sources of dreams. Freud highlights the interplay between recent experiences, day residues, and deeper unconscious material in shaping dream content. Memories, childhood experiences, and cultural influences all contribute to the material from which dreams are derived. Understanding the sources of dreams is essential for interpreting their symbolic meanings and uncovering the unconscious desires and conflicts that drive them. Chapter 6. The Dream Work. Chapter 6 of The Interpretation of Dreams, by Sigmund Freud is titled The Dream Work. In this chapter, Freud delves into the concept of the dream work, which refers to the psychological processes through which dreams are formed and shaped. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by stating that dreams are not simply a direct reflection of unconscious desires but undergo a complex transformation through the dream work. The dream work involves several mechanisms that distort, condense, and disguise the latent content of dreams, making it accessible to the conscious mind in the form of manifest content. The first mechanism of the dream work that Freud discusses is condensation. Condensation involves the merging of multiple thoughts, desires, and emotions into a single dream image or symbol. This compression allows the dream to express a variety of unconscious material in a condensed and compact form. Freud explains that condensation occurs when different elements of the dream, such as people, objects, or events, can represent multiple unconscious associations and desires simultaneously. By condensing these elements, the dream is able to express a multitude of meanings and conflicts in a condensed and often enigmatic manner. The second mechanism Freud explores is displacement. Displacement involves the shift of emotional significance from one element of the dream to another. The true emotional intensity of an unconscious desire is transferred onto a safer, less threatening object or event within the dream. Displacement serves to divert attention away from the actual source of desire and onto a substitute that is more acceptable to the conscious mind. Freud discusses how displacement operates in conjunction with symbolism in dreams. Symbols in dreams represent unconscious material and desires in a disguised and transformed manner. The use of symbolism allows the dream to express forbidden or repressed wishes while avoiding direct confrontation with conscious moral or social inhibitions. Freud also introduces the concept of secondary elaboration, which occurs after the dream formation process. Secondary elaboration involves the mind's effort to create a coherent narrative out of the fragmented and distorted elements of the dream. This narrative coherence gives the dream a sense of logic and meaning, further obscuring the true underlying desires and conflicts. The chapter concludes with Freud emphasizing that the dream work is governed by specific psychological principles and processes. The mechanisms of condensation, displacement, symbolism, and secondary elaboration all contribute to the distortion and transformation of unconscious material, allowing dreams to fulfill wishes in a disguised and symbolic manner. In summary, Chapter 6 explores the concept of the dream work, which encompasses the psychological processes through which dreams are formed. Freud highlights the mechanisms of condensation, displacement, symbolism, and secondary elaboration as key components of the dream work. Understanding the dream work is crucial for interpreting dreams and uncovering the latent content and hidden desires that are expressed through the manifest content of dreams. Chapter 7. The Psychology of the Dream Process. Chapter 7 of The Interpretation of Dreams, by Sigmund Freud is titled, The Psychology of the Dream Process. In this chapter, Freud delves deeper into the psychological aspects of the dream process, focusing on the interplay between the conscious and unconscious mind during dreaming. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by highlighting the dual nature of the dream process, which involves both the unconscious and the conscious mind. He suggests that the dream process can be understood as a compromise between the desires of the unconscious and the resistances imposed by the conscious mind. Freud introduces the concept of dream censorship, or dream censorship agency, which represents the influence of the conscious mind on the dream content. The censorship mechanism filters and distorts the unconscious wishes to make them acceptable for conscious awareness in the form of dreams. According to Freud, the dream censorship arises from various factors, including moral, social, and cultural norms, as well as personal anxieties and repressions. The censorship mechanism operates during the dream formation process, shaping and transforming the unconscious material into the manifest content of dreams. Freud explores the role of dream censorship through the lens of dream analysis, focusing on the symbolic meanings and hidden desires that are concealed within dream content. He suggests that by deciphering the symbols and uncovering the latent content, one can gain insight into the repressed wishes and conflicts that the dream censorship aims to hide. Freud introduces the concept of dream thoughts or dream ideas, which refer to the unconscious desires and meanings behind dream images and events. The dream thoughts are the true content of the dream, while the manifest content represents their disguised and distorted expression. He explains that the dream thoughts are often repressed and disguised due to the censorship mechanism, making their interpretation challenging. Freud proposes that dream analysis involves retracing the transformations and distortions imposed by the censorship to access the underlying dream thoughts and their associated unconscious material. Freud discusses the concept of overdetermination in dreams, suggesting that dream images and events can have multiple meanings and associations. A single dream element can be linked to various unconscious thoughts and desires, reflecting the complexity and richness of the dream process. The chapter concludes with Freud emphasizing the importance of understanding the psychology of the dream process for dream interpretation. By recognizing the interplay between the conscious and unconscious mind, as well as the influence of the censorship mechanism, one can unravel the hidden meanings and conflicts within dreams. In summary, Chapter 7 delves into the psychology of the dream process. Freud explores the concept of dream censorship, which represents the influence of the conscious mind on dream content. He highlights the significance of dream thoughts, the true content of dreams, and discusses how they are distorted and disguised through the dream process. Understanding the interplay between the conscious and unconscious mind during dreaming is crucial for unraveling the hidden desires and conflicts expressed in dream symbolism and manifest content. Chapter 8. The Dream Work, Secondary Elaboration. Chapter 8 of The Interpretation of Dreams, by Sigmund Freud is titled, The Dream Work, Secondary Elaboration. In this chapter, Freud delves deeper into the concept of secondary elaboration, which is a key aspect of the dream work process. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by explaining that secondary elaboration refers to the additional mental activity that occurs after the primary dream formation process. While primary dream formation involves the transformation and distortion of unconscious desires into dream images and manifest content, secondary elaboration is responsible for organizing these elements into a coherent narrative. Secondary elaboration serves to give the dream a sense of logical order, filling in gaps, and connecting fragmented dream elements. It is a post-dream formation process that occurs during the waking state as the dreamer recalls and reflects upon the dream experience. Freud highlights that secondary elaboration often occurs spontaneously as the dreamer attempts to make sense of the dream and provide it with a narrative structure. This process can involve the addition of details, explanations, and causal connections that may not have been present in the original dream experience. Secondary elaboration can lead to the creation of a storyline or plot in the dream, making it appear more coherent and meaningful upon waking. However, Freud emphasizes that this narrative coherence is illusory and does not necessarily reflect the true underlying meanings and conflicts within the dream. Freud discusses the relationship between secondary elaboration and the waking thoughts and memories that influence the dream. He suggests that secondary elaboration can draw upon these waking associations and integrate them into the dream narrative, further shaping the dream content. Freud also explores the role of secondary elaboration in dream analysis. He cautions against placing too much emphasis on the manifest content resulting from secondary elaboration, as it can lead to a superficial understanding of the dream's true meaning. Instead, he encourages a deeper exploration of the latent content and the unconscious desires it represents. The chapter concludes with Freud emphasizing that secondary elaboration is a normal part of the dream process and is influenced by various psychological factors, including the dreamer's conscious thoughts, memories, and cultural influences. Understanding the role of secondary elaboration can help differentiate between the distorted narrative of the dream and the underlying unconscious wishes and conflicts. In summary, Chapter 8 focuses on the concept of secondary elaboration in the dream work process. Freud explains how secondary elaboration contributes to the creation of a coherent narrative in the dream, filling in gaps and connecting fragmented elements. He highlights the influence of waking thoughts and memories on this process and warns against overemphasizing the manifest content resulting from secondary elaboration. Understanding secondary elaboration is crucial for interpreting dreams and uncovering the latent content and true meanings beneath the surface narrative. Chapter 9. The dream work, condensation. Chapter 9 of The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud is titled The Dream Work, Condensation. In this chapter, Freud explores the concept of condensation, which is a key mechanism of the dream work process. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by introducing condensation as a fundamental process in dream formation. Condensation refers to the compression of multiple thoughts, desires, and emotions into a single dream image or symbol. It allows the dream to express a multitude of unconscious material in a condensed and often enigmatic manner. Condensation occurs because dream thoughts are represented in a more condensed form than waking thoughts. Through condensation, various elements of the dream, such as people, objects, or events, can symbolize multiple associations and meanings simultaneously. Freud explains that condensation is not a random process but is guided by the dreamer's unconscious desires and conflicts. Different elements in the dream can condense into one another if they share a common emotional significance or represent related thoughts and experiences. Condensation often creates composite figures or symbols in dreams, where several individuals or objects merge into a single entity. These composite figures can represent complex and overlapping meanings, reflecting the interplay of various unconscious desires and associations. Freud emphasizes that the condensed dream images are not always immediately recognizable or transparent in their meaning. They require careful analysis and interpretation to uncover the hidden thoughts and desires they represent. Freud discusses the challenge of deciphering condensed dream material. He suggests that dream analysis involves tracing the associations and connections of the dream elements to unravel the latent content beneath the manifest content. By exploring the various possible meanings of a condensed image, one can gain insights into the unconscious wishes and conflicts it represents. Freud provides examples and case studies to illustrate the process of condensation in dreams. He highlights the complexity and richness of condensation, emphasizing that a single dream image can encapsulate a multitude of thoughts and desires. The chapter concludes with Freud underscoring the significance of condensation in dream analysis. By recognizing and decoding the condensed symbols and images in dreams, one can access the deeper meanings and unconscious content that are concealed within the dream material. In summary, Chapter 9 focuses on the concept of condensation in the dream work process. Freud explains how condensation compresses multiple thoughts, desires, and emotions into a single dream image or symbol. He highlights that condensation is guided by unconscious desires and conflicts, and it creates complex and layered meanings within the dream. Understanding and interpreting condensation is crucial for uncovering the latent content and hidden desires represented in the manifest content of dreams. Chapter 10. The Dream Work, Displacement. Chapter 10 of The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud is titled The Dream Work, Displacement. In this chapter, Freud explores the concept of displacement, which is another important mechanism of the dream work process. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by introducing displacement as a key process in dream formation. Displacement involves the shifting of emotional significance from one element of the dream to another. The true emotional intensity associated with an unconscious desire is transferred onto a safer or more acceptable object or event within the dream. Displacement serves a defensive purpose, allowing the dream to express repressed or forbidden desires while avoiding direct confrontation with conscious inhibitions and censorship. By displacing the emotional intensity, the dream can circumvent the resistances imposed by the conscious mind. Freud explains that displacement occurs because the unconscious desires that drive dreams are often accompanied by intense emotions. These emotions need to be disguised and redirected in order to bypass the conscious censor and manifest as a dream. Displacement often involves the use of symbolism in dreams. Symbols allow the dream to express the emotional intensity of a repressed desire through a substitute object or event that is less threatening to conscious awareness. Symbolism allows the dream to communicate hidden meanings while providing a degree of safety and camouflage. Freud suggests that displacement can occur in different ways. It can involve the substitution of one person or object for another, the transformation of an emotion into a physical sensation, or the alteration of a specific scenario or context in the dream. Freud highlights that the process of displacement can sometimes lead to dream content that appears strange, illogical, or unrelated to the dreamer's conscious concerns. This is because the emotional significance and intensity are displaced onto seemingly unrelated dream elements. Freud discusses the challenges associated with deciphering and interpreting displacement in dreams. He emphasizes the importance of understanding the underlying unconscious desires and conflicts that are being displaced, as well as the symbolic associations that the displaced elements may represent. The chapter concludes with Freud stressing the significance of displacement in dream analysis. By recognizing and unraveling the displacements within a dream, one can gain insights into the repressed desires and emotional conflicts that are being expressed indirectly. Understanding displacement is essential for uncovering the latent content and hidden meanings within the manifest content of dreams. In summary, Chapter 10 focuses on the concept of displacement in the dream work process. Freud explains how displacement allows the dream to shift emotional significance from one element to another, thereby expressing repressed desires while evading conscious resistance. Displacement often involves the use of symbolism and can result in seemingly unrelated or bizarre dream content. Recognizing and interpreting displacement is crucial for uncovering the hidden desires and conflicts within dreams and accessing their latent content. Chapter 11. The Dream Work, Representation by Symbols. Chapter 11 of The Interpretation of Dreams, by Sigmund Freud is titled, The Dream Work, Representation by Symbols. In this chapter, Freud explores the role of symbolism in the dream work process. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by emphasizing the pervasive use of symbolism in dreams. He suggests that dreams frequently employ symbolic representations to express unconscious thoughts, desires, and emotions in a disguised and metaphorical manner. According to Freud, symbolism in dreams serves two purposes. First, it allows the dream to circumvent the censoring mechanisms of the conscious mind, enabling the expression of repressed or socially unacceptable desires. Second, symbolism provides a means for condensation, allowing multiple meanings and associations to be conveyed through a single symbol. Freud explains that symbols in dreams are not arbitrary but are rooted in personal experiences, cultural influences, and the individual's unique psychological history. The specific symbols used in a dream are determined by the dreamer's associations and the emotional significance they hold. Freud highlights that symbols in dreams are not static or universally fixed in meaning. The interpretation of symbols requires a comprehensive understanding of the dreamer's personal history and subjective associations. Therefore, symbols should not be approached with fixed, predetermined meanings but should be explored within the specific context of the dreamer's experiences. Freud discusses various types of dream symbols, including objects, animals, and human figures. He explains that dream symbols can represent a wide range of meanings and can be associated with both conscious and unconscious thoughts and desires. Freud also introduces the concept of overdetermination in relation to dream symbols. Overdetermination refers to the idea that a single dream symbol can have multiple meanings and associations, reflecting the complexity and richness of the unconscious mind. Dream analysis, according to Freud, involves deciphering the symbolic representations in the dream to uncover the latent content and the hidden meanings beneath the manifest content. This requires exploring the personal associations and emotional significance attached to each symbol. Freud acknowledges the challenges associated with interpreting dream symbols, as symbols can have different meanings for different individuals. He stresses the importance of considering the dreamer's personal associations, cultural background, and individual experiences when interpreting symbols. The chapter concludes with Freud highlighting the central role of symbolism in dream analysis. By recognizing and deciphering the symbolic representations in dreams, one can gain insight into the unconscious desires, conflicts, and meanings that the dream seeks to express. Understanding the symbolism in dreams is crucial for accessing the latent content and uncovering the hidden aspects of the dreamer's psyche. In summary, Chapter 11 explores the role of symbolism in the dream work process. Freud emphasizes that dreams frequently use symbols to express unconscious thoughts and desires in a disguised and condensed manner. Symbolism allows dreams to bypass conscious resistance and convey multiple meanings. Interpreting dream symbols requires an understanding of the dreamer's personal associations and cultural context. Decoding the symbolic representations in dreams is essential for uncovering the latent content and the deeper psychological meanings they contain. Chapter 12. Wish Fulfillment. Chapter 12 of The Interpretation of Dreams, by Sigmund Freud is titled Wish Fulfillment. In this chapter, Freud explores the concept of wish fulfillment as a central mechanism in dream formation. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by asserting that dreams are a fulfillment of unconscious wishes. He suggests that dreams serve as a means through which repressed and unfulfilled desires can find expression in a distorted and symbolic form. According to Freud, the content of dreams is influenced by the dreamer's current and past experiences, as well as their emotional and psychological states. Dreams provide an outlet for the satisfaction of wishes that may be suppressed or unattainable in waking life. Freud distinguishes between manifest content and latent content in dreams. The manifest content refers to the actual events, images, and experiences that are consciously remembered upon waking. The latent content represents the underlying unconscious wishes and desires that are disguised and symbolized within the manifest content. Dream analysis involves unraveling the latent content to uncover the hidden meanings and wishes behind the manifest content. Freud suggests that by deciphering the symbols and associations in a dream, one can gain insight into the unconscious desires and conflicts it represents. Freud explains that wish fulfillment in dreams can take various forms. It can involve the fulfillment of an ungratified desire from the past, the gratification of a current wish, or the symbolic representation of a desire through metaphor and symbolism. He also discusses the role of censorship in the dream process. The conscious mind, influenced by societal and moral constraints, imposes restrictions and distorts the wishes in dreams to make them more acceptable for conscious awareness. Freud emphasizes that not all dreams are straightforward wish fulfillments, as some dreams can express fears, anxieties, and unresolved conflicts. However, he argues that even these dreams ultimately stem from unconscious desires and wishes, albeit ones that are more negative or conflicted in nature. The chapter concludes with Freud highlighting the significance of wish fulfillment in dream analysis. By recognizing that dreams are a product of unconscious desires and wishes, one can gain a deeper understanding of the individual's psychological makeup and motivations. In summary, Chapter 12 explores the concept of wish fulfillment as a central mechanism in dream formation. Freud suggests that dreams serve as a means for the unconscious mind to express and fulfill repressed and unfulfilled desires. Dream analysis involves deciphering the latent content to uncover the hidden wishes and conflicts behind the manifest content. Wish fulfillment in dreams can take various forms and is influenced by the conscious mind's censorship. Understanding wish fulfillment in dreams provides insights into the individual's psychological landscape and motivations. Chapter 13. The Dream as Wish Fulfillment. Chapter 13 of The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud is titled, The Dream as Wish Fulfillment. In this chapter, Freud explores the fundamental idea that dreams are a manifestation of unconscious wishes and desires. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud starts by asserting that dreams are the fulfillment of unconscious wishes, serving as a means for the fulfillment of desires that are repressed or unattainable in waking life. Dreams allow the unconscious mind to express and satisfy these wishes in a distorted and symbolic form. He explains that dreams have a psychical apparatus that operates differently from waking consciousness. The primary process thinking of the unconscious mind, which is driven by desires and pleasure, is responsible for the formation of dreams. Freud distinguishes between the manifest content and latent content of dreams. The manifest content refers to the actual images, experiences, and events that are consciously remembered upon waking. The latent content represents the underlying unconscious wishes and desires that are disguised and symbolized within the manifest content. Dream analysis involves uncovering the latent content to reveal the hidden meanings and desires behind the manifest content. Freud suggests that the symbols, images, and events in a dream can be deciphered to gain insight into the unconscious wishes and conflicts that the dream represents. He explains that dreams may involve the fulfillment of ungratified desires from the past or the gratification of current wishes. Dreams can also represent the fulfillment of symbolic or metaphorical desires through various means, such as displacement and condensation. Freud acknowledges that not all dreams are positive wish fulfillments. Some dreams can express fears, anxieties, and unresolved conflicts, but he argues that even these dreams ultimately stem from unconscious desires and wishes, albeit ones that are more negative or conflicted in nature. Furthermore, Freud discusses the concept of dream censorship, where the conscious mind imposes restrictions and distorts the wishes in dreams to make them more acceptable for conscious awareness. This censorship mechanism plays a role in the formation of dream content and can lead to the symbolic and distorted nature of dreams. The chapter concludes with Freud emphasizing the importance of recognizing dreams as wish fulfillments in the understanding of their meaning and significance. By exploring the unconscious desires and conflicts expressed in dreams, one can gain valuable insights into the individual's psychological landscape and motivations. In summary, Chapter 13 focuses on the idea that dreams are a manifestation of unconscious wishes and desires. Freud explains that dreams serve as a means for the fulfillment of repressed or unattainable desires. Dream analysis involves deciphering the latent content to uncover the hidden meanings and wishes behind the manifest content. Dreams can represent both positive and negative wish fulfillments, and their symbolism and distorted nature are influenced by the censorship of the conscious mind. Understanding dreams as wish fulfillments provides insights into the individual's psychological makeup and motivations. Chapter 14. The Typical Dreams. Chapter 14 of The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud is titled The Typical Dreams. In this chapter, Freud explores common themes and patterns that he observed in the dreams of his patients. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by discussing the existence of certain dream elements and scenarios that are commonly experienced by many individuals. These recurring themes and patterns, which he refers to as typical dreams, provide valuable insights into the shared psychological processes underlying dream formation. He identifies several categories of typical dreams, including dreams of examination, dreams of embarrassment, dreams of being pursued, dreams of falling, and dreams of flying. These categories reflect common experiences and anxieties that people often encounter in their lives. Freud suggests that these typical dreams are not purely arbitrary or random but are rooted in universal human experiences and emotions. They represent the collective expression of shared anxieties, desires, and conflicts that are woven into the fabric of human psychology. He explains that the content of these typical dreams is often symbolic and metaphorical, with the dream elements representing deeper psychological meanings. For example, dreams of examination may symbolize feelings of performance pressure or the need for validation, while dreams of being pursued may symbolize a sense of threat or the fear of being overwhelmed. Freud also notes that typical dreams can be influenced by cultural factors, as certain themes and symbols may vary across different societies and time periods. However, he emphasizes that the underlying psychological processes and motivations behind these dreams remain universal. He argues that the study of typical dreams provides valuable insights into the nature of dreams as well as the human psyche. By analyzing these common themes and patterns, psychologists can gain a deeper understanding of the shared fears, desires, and conflicts that shape human behavior and experience. Freud acknowledges that individual variations exist within typical dreams, and each person's dream content is influenced by their unique personal history and individual psychology. Nevertheless, he believes that the presence of typical dreams highlights the existence of collective psychological phenomena that transcend individual differences. The chapter concludes with Freud highlighting the significance of typical dreams in dream analysis. By recognizing and understanding the common themes and patterns that emerge in dreams, psychologists can better interpret the symbolic meanings and underlying psychological processes at work. In summary, Chapter 14 explores the concept of typical dreams, recurring themes and patterns observed in the dreams of many individuals. Freud suggests that these dreams represent universal psychological processes and reflect shared anxieties, desires, and conflicts. The content of typical dreams is often symbolic and metaphorical, providing insights into deeper psychological meanings. While influenced by cultural factors, typical dreams reveal the collective nature of human psychology. Analyzing typical dreams enhances our understanding of the shared fears, desires, and motivations that shape human experience. Chapter 15. The Transformation of Dreams. Chapter 15 of The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud is titled The Transformation of Dreams. In this chapter, Freud explores the various ways in which the content of dreams is transformed during the dream work process. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by stating that the content of dreams undergoes significant transformations compared to the thoughts and experiences of waking life. He argues that these transformations are not random or arbitrary but follow specific psychological mechanisms. One of the primary mechanisms of dream transformation is condensation. Freud explains that condensation involves the fusion of multiple thoughts, images, and desires into a single dream element. This condensation allows for the compression of complex and diverse material into a more manageable form within the dream. Freud highlights that condensation is responsible for the economy of the dream, as it enables the expression of multiple thoughts and desires through condensed and symbolic representations. By condensing various elements, the dream can convey a wealth of meaning in a relatively short and compressed form. Another transformation mechanism discussed by Freud is displacement. Displacement involves the shifting of emotional significance from one element of the dream to another. The true emotional intensity associated with an unconscious desire is displaced onto safer or less threatening objects or events within the dream. Freud explains that displacement serves a defensive purpose, allowing the dream to express repressed or forbidden desires while avoiding direct confrontation with conscious inhibitions and censorship. By displacing the emotional intensity, the dream can circumvent the resistances imposed by the conscious mind. Freud also introduces the concept of secondary elaboration. Secondary elaboration refers to the process by which the dream creates a coherent narrative and rationalizes its content after the dreamer wakes up. It involves adding logical connections, filling in gaps, and providing explanations to make the dream more comprehensible and acceptable to the conscious mind. He explains that secondary elaboration often obscures the true meanings and intentions of the dream, making it more difficult to decipher its underlying unconscious content. It can create a sense of continuity and coherence in the dream that may not have been present during the actual dreaming process. Freud suggests that the transformations occurring in the dream work process, such as condensation, displacement, and secondary elaboration, serve to protect the dreamer from the anxiety and discomfort that would arise from directly confronting repressed desires and forbidden thoughts. The chapter concludes with Freud emphasizing the importance of understanding the transformation of dreams in dream analysis. By recognizing and unraveling the various transformation mechanisms, one can gain insights into the hidden meanings and unconscious desires that the dream seeks to express. In summary, Chapter 15 focuses on the transformation of dreams during the dream work process. Freud explains that the content of dreams undergoes significant transformations through mechanisms such as condensation, displacement, and secondary elaboration. These transformations serve defensive and protective functions, allowing the expression of repressed desires while avoiding direct confrontation with conscious inhibitions. Understanding the transformation of dreams is crucial for uncovering the hidden meanings and unconscious content within the dream. Chapter 16. The Dreamer's Latent Thoughts. Chapter 16 of The Interpretation of Dreams, by Sigmund Freud is titled, The Dreamer's Latent Thoughts. In this chapter, Freud explores the latent thoughts that underlie the manifest content of dreams. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by explaining that the manifest content of a dream, which consists of the actual images, events, and experiences remembered upon waking, is a distorted and symbolic representation of the dreamer's latent thoughts and desires. These latent thoughts are the underlying unconscious content of the dream. He argues that the interpretation of dreams requires a shift from the manifest content to the latent thoughts. By uncovering the latent thoughts, one can gain a deeper understanding of the hidden meanings and motivations behind the dream. Freud emphasizes that the latent thoughts of a dream are not readily accessible to conscious awareness. They are often repressed, socially unacceptable, or emotionally charged, and therefore require interpretation to bring them into conscious understanding. Dream analysis involves deciphering the symbols, associations, and displacements within the manifest content to uncover the latent thoughts. Freud suggests that the dreamer's personal history, experiences, and unconscious desires shape the specific form and content of the latent thoughts. He introduces the concept of dream thoughts, which are the raw material from which dreams are constructed. Dream thoughts are often illogical, fragmented, and disjointed, reflecting the unstructured nature of unconscious mental processes. Freud proposes that dream thoughts can be grouped into two main categories, the day residues and the infantile material. Day residues refer to recent thoughts, experiences, or emotions that have left an impression on the dreamer's mind. Infantile material represents repressed desires and conflicts from childhood experiences that continue to influence the dreamer's unconscious mind. He argues that the dream work process, which includes mechanisms such as condensation and displacement, transforms the latent thoughts into the manifest content. These transformations serve to disguise and distort the true meaning of the dream, allowing the unconscious desires to be expressed in a disguised and symbolized form. Freud also discusses the role of censorship in dream formation. The conscious mind, influenced by societal norms and personal moral codes, imposes restrictions on the expression of certain thoughts and desires within dreams. This censorship contributes to the symbolic and distorted nature of the manifest content. The chapter concludes with Freud highlighting the importance of unraveling the latent thoughts in dream analysis. By uncovering the unconscious desires, conflicts, and motivations behind the dream, one can gain insights into the dreamer's psychological landscape and the underlying forces shaping their thoughts and behaviors. In summary, Chapter 16 explores the latent thoughts that underlie the manifest content of dreams. Freud explains that the manifest content is a distorted and symbolic representation of the dreamer's unconscious desires and thoughts. Dream analysis involves deciphering the symbols and associations within the manifest content to uncover the latent thoughts. These latent thoughts are often repressed, emotionally charged, or socially unacceptable. Understanding the latent thoughts allows for a deeper understanding of the hidden meanings and motivations behind the dream, providing insights into the dreamer's psychological landscape. Chapter 17. The Dream Thoughts of the Individual Symbols. Chapter 17 of The Interpretation of Dreams, by Sigmund Freud is titled, The Dream Thoughts of the Individual Symbols. In this chapter, Freud delves into the analysis of individual symbols in dreams and explores their underlying dream thoughts. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by emphasizing that the symbols present in dreams are not arbitrary or random but are derived from the dreamer's personal experiences, memories, and unconscious associations. Symbols in dreams represent condensed and disguised forms of underlying thoughts and desires. He argues that understanding the meaning of dream symbols requires an investigation into the dreamer's personal history, cultural background, and individual associations. The same symbol can have different meanings for different individuals, so it is essential to take into account the dreamer's unique context and experiences. Freud introduces the concept of overdetermination regarding dream symbols. Overdetermination suggests that a single dream element or symbol can have multiple layers of meaning, representing various thoughts, memories, and desires simultaneously. The richness and complexity of dream symbols stem from this process of overdetermination. He highlights that dream symbols often have both a personal meaning and a collective meaning. Personal meanings relate to the dreamer's individual experiences and associations, while collective meanings stem from shared cultural, religious, or societal symbols and archetypes. Freud explores various types of symbols commonly found in dreams, such as objects, animals, people, and actions. He provides examples and analyzes their possible meanings based on his clinical experience and theoretical understanding. He emphasizes the importance of free association in the analysis of dream symbols. By allowing the dreamer to freely associate with the symbol, unconscious thoughts and memories connected to the symbol can emerge, providing insights into the underlying dream thoughts and desires. Freud also discusses the role of displacement in dream symbolism. Displacement involves the transfer of emotional significance from one element to another, leading to the choice of certain symbols that may not seem directly related to the underlying thoughts and desires. Understanding displacement is crucial in uncovering the true meanings behind dream symbols. He acknowledges that some symbols in dreams may be universal or have collective meanings that transcend individual experiences. These universal symbols can tap into deep-seated archetypal images and themes that are shared across cultures and throughout human history. The chapter concludes with Freud underscoring the importance of careful analysis and individualized interpretation when dealing with dream symbols. Each symbol carries layers of meaning that are unique to the dreamer, and uncovering these meanings requires a deep exploration of personal associations and unconscious connections. In summary, Chapter 17 focuses on the analysis of individual symbols in dreams and their underlying dream thoughts. Freud explains that dream symbols are not arbitrary and require investigation into the dreamer's personal history and associations. Symbols in dreams are overdetermined, carrying multiple layers of meaning. They have both personal and collective significance, and their interpretation involves considering cultural, societal, and individual contexts. Displacement and free association play important roles in understanding the true meanings behind dream symbols. Analyzing dream symbols provides insights into the dreamer's unconscious thoughts, desires, and memories, contributing to a deeper understanding of the dream's content and significance. Chapter 18. Infantile Sexual Theories and the Sexual Life of Adults. Chapter 18 of The Interpretation of Dreams, by Sigmund Freud is titled, Infantile Sexual Theories and the Sexual Life of Adults. In this chapter, Freud explores the development of infantile sexual theories and their influence on the sexual life of adults. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by highlighting the significance of childhood experiences and the formation of sexual theories during early development. He argues that children, through their observations and experiences, develop their own theories about sexuality, which influence their understanding of adult sexual life. He introduces the concept of infantile sexual theories, which are the child's explanations and assumptions regarding sexual matters. These theories are often characterized by imaginative and sometimes unrealistic ideas that reflect the child's attempts to make sense of their own observations and sensations. Freud explains that infantile sexual theories are shaped by the child's interactions with their parents, siblings, and other significant figures in their environment. These theories are influenced by both conscious and unconscious processes and can have a profound impact on the individual's sexual development and attitudes in adulthood. He describes several common infantile sexual theories, such as the theory of the primal scene, the theory of sexual difference, and the theory of castration. These theories reflect the child's attempts to understand and explain complex aspects of sexuality, such as the differences between the sexes and the origin of babies. Freud argues that these infantile sexual theories persist into adulthood and continue to influence the individual's sexual life. Although they may be modified or transformed over time, they form the foundation upon which adult sexual desires, fantasies, and anxieties are built. He emphasizes that the influence of infantile sexual theories is not limited to conscious awareness but also extends to the unconscious mind. Unresolved conflicts and unconscious desires stemming from childhood experiences can manifest in adult sexual fantasies, behaviors, and neurotic symptoms. Freud further explores the concept of repression, highlighting its role in shaping adult sexuality. Repression involves the unconscious suppression of unacceptable or threatening sexual desires and impulses. The unresolved conflicts and fantasies associated with infantile sexual theories are often subject to repression, leading to the formation of unconscious sexual complexes. He discusses the connection between infantile sexuality and neurotic symptoms, suggesting that unresolved conflicts and repressed desires related to childhood sexual theories can contribute to the development of psychological disorders and symptoms. Freud concludes the chapter by emphasizing the importance of understanding the influence of infantile sexual theories on adult sexuality in psychoanalytic treatment. By bringing these unconscious theories and conflicts into conscious awareness, individuals can gain insights into their sexual attitudes, behaviors, and anxieties, leading to a greater understanding and potential resolution of sexual difficulties. In summary, Chapter 19 explores the development of infantile sexual theories and their impact on the sexual life of adults. Freud highlights the significance of childhood experiences in shaping these theories and their lasting influence on adult sexuality. Infantile sexual theories are influenced by observations and interactions with significant figures in the child's environment. They persist into adulthood and can shape sexual desires, fantasies, and anxieties. Repression plays a role in the formation of unconscious sexual complexes, and unresolved conflicts related to infantile sexual theories can contribute to the development of neurotic symptoms. Understanding and addressing these theories in psychoanalytic treatment can lead to a greater understanding and potential resolution of sexual difficulties. Chapter 19. The Dream is a Distorted Fulfillment of a Repressed Wish. Chapter 19 of The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud is titled, The Dream is a Distorted Fulfillment of a Repressed Wish. In this chapter, Freud explores the concept that dreams are a manifestation of repressed wishes that are fulfilled in a distorted and disguised manner. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by stating that dreams are not meaningless or random occurrences but have a purpose and meaning. He argues that dreams are the fulfillment of repressed wishes, desires, and fantasies that are unable to find expression in waking life due to social, moral, or psychological constraints. He posits that the fulfillment of these repressed wishes occurs in dreams through a process of distortion and disguise. The dream disguises the true content of the wish to bypass the censoring mechanisms of the conscious mind, allowing the unacceptable or suppressed material to emerge in a disguised form. Freud introduces the concept of dream censorship, which refers to the filtering and censoring process that occurs between the unconscious wish and its conscious expression in the dream. The censoring mechanisms operate to ensure that the latent content of the dream remains hidden and that the dream appears innocuous and non-threatening to the conscious mind. He explains that dream censorship is responsible for the various distortions and transformations that take place in dreams. Through mechanisms such as condensation, displacement, and symbolism, the repressed wish is transformed into a disguised and distorted form, making it difficult to recognize its true meaning. Freud highlights the role of symbolism in dream distortion. Symbolism allows the dream to express the repressed wish indirectly, using symbols that stand for or represent the forbidden or unacceptable desires. These symbols can be personal and idiosyncratic, influenced by the dreamer's unique experiences and associations. He suggests that dream analysis requires the decoding and interpretation of these symbolic elements to uncover the latent content and the true meaning behind the dream. By understanding the symbolic language of the dream, one can gain insight into the repressed wishes and desires that the dream is attempting to fulfill. Freud also emphasizes that dreams are not limited to fulfilling conscious desires but can also express unconscious and instinctual impulses that are normally repressed. Dreams provide an outlet for the release and expression of these repressed desires, allowing the individual to obtain a measure of satisfaction and relief. The chapter concludes with Freud asserting that dreams are not simply wish fulfillment in a straightforward sense but rather a distorted and disguised fulfillment. The dream serves as a compromise between the repressed wishes of the unconscious mind and the censoring mechanisms of the conscious mind. Understanding the process of dream distortion and symbolism is essential in uncovering the hidden wishes and desires that underlie the manifest content of the dream. In summary, Chapter 19 explores the idea that dreams are a distorted fulfillment of repressed wishes. Freud argues that dreams serve as a means for the unconscious mind to express and fulfill forbidden or suppressed desires. Dream censorship operates to disguise and transform these wishes through various mechanisms such as condensation, displacement, and symbolism. Symbolism plays a crucial role in dream distortion, allowing the dream to express the repressed content indirectly. Understanding dream symbolism and decoding the latent content is key to uncovering the true meaning and desires behind the dream. Dreams provide an outlet for the release of unconscious and instinctual impulses that are normally repressed in waking life. Chapter 20. The primary and secondary process in the dream work. Chapter 20 of The Interpretation of Dreams, by Sigmund Freud is titled, The Primary and Secondary Process in the Dream Work. In this chapter, Freud explores the two distinct processes involved in the formation of dreams, the primary process and the secondary process. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by introducing the concept of the primary process, which characterizes the functioning of the unconscious mind. The primary process is governed by the pleasure principle, seeking immediate gratification of instinctual drives and desires without regard to external reality or the constraints of logic. He explains that the primary process thinking is characterized by the use of condensation and displacement. Condensation refers to the merging of multiple ideas, images, or emotions into a single dream element, resulting in a condensed and symbolic representation. Displacement involves the redirection of emotional significance from one element to another, leading to the choice of certain dream images and symbols that may not seem directly related to the underlying thoughts and desires. Freud argues that the primary process thinking dominates in the formation of dreams. Dreams are products of the unconscious mind, which operates according to the primary process. Thus, dreams are characterized by their irrationality, illogicality, and lack of temporal and spatial coherence. He introduces the concept of the secondary process, which represents the functioning of the conscious mind and is responsible for logical thinking, rationality, and the adaptation to reality. The secondary process operates according to the reality principle, taking into account external constraints, social norms, and logical reasoning. Freud explains that the secondary process works in conjunction with the primary process in the formation of dreams. The dream content, which originates from the primary process, undergoes a transformation through the influence of the secondary process. This transformation leads to the manifest content of the dream, which is the actual content experienced by the dreamer upon waking. The secondary process serves as a censoring mechanism, censoring and distorting the latent thoughts and desires of the dream to ensure that they are acceptable and manageable for conscious awareness. It imposes logical connections, temporal order, and spatial coherence onto the dream content, creating a semblance of a coherent narrative. Freud emphasizes that the secondary process is weaker during sleep, allowing the primary process to exert greater influence on dream formation. As a result, dreams often contain illogical and bizarre elements that reflect the dominance of the primary process. He highlights that dream analysis involves deciphering the manifest content to uncover the latent thoughts and desires hidden beneath the dream's symbolic and distorted form. By understanding the interplay between the primary and secondary processes, one can gain insight into the unconscious conflicts, desires, and motivations that shape the dream. The chapter concludes with Freud underscoring the importance of recognizing the distinct roles of the primary and secondary processes in the dream work. Dreams are the result of the interaction between these two processes, with the primary process providing the raw material and the secondary process imposing organization and coherence. Understanding this dynamic is crucial in unraveling the hidden meanings and motivations behind the dream. In summary, Chapter 20 explores the primary and secondary processes involved in the formation of dreams. Freud explains that the primary process, governed by the pleasure principle, characterizes the functioning of the unconscious mind and is responsible for the condensation and displacement observed in dreams. The secondary process, guided by the reality principle, represents conscious thinking and is responsible for logical reasoning and adaptation to reality. The interplay between the primary and secondary processes shapes the content and structure of dreams. Dream analysis involves deciphering the manifest content to uncover the latent thoughts and desires hidden beneath the dream's symbolic and distorted form. Recognizing the roles of the primary and secondary processes is essential in understanding the underlying meanings and motivations behind the dream. Chapter 21. The Regression. Chapter 21 of The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud is titled The Regression. In this chapter, Freud explores the concept of regression in dreams and its significance in understanding the dream process. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by discussing the concept of regression, which refers to the return of the dreamer's mental processes to earlier stages of development. In dreams, the regression is evident in the reactivation of childhood memories, experiences, and modes of thinking that have been repressed or forgotten in waking life. He argues that regression in dreams is a consequence of the relaxation of censorship and the weakening of the conscious mind's control over unconscious processes during sleep. As a result, the dream content can tap into unconscious material and draw upon early childhood experiences and fantasies. Freud explains that regression allows the dream to fulfill wishes and desires that are rooted in early stages of development. These wishes may involve instinctual drives, fantasies, or unresolved conflicts from childhood that continue to influence the individual's unconscious motivations and desires. He highlights that regression in dreams is not a linear process, but rather a complex interplay between different stages of development. Dreams can exhibit elements of both infantile and adult experiences, merging past and present in a way that reflects the dreamer's unique psychological history. Freud identifies two forms of regression in dreams: regressive transformation and regressive representation. Regressive transformation involves the transformation of current thoughts and experiences into symbols and images that reflect earlier stages of development. Regressive representation refers to the direct representation of past experiences and memories in the dream content. He emphasizes that the regressive nature of dreams contributes to the distortion and disguise of the dream content. Through regression, the dream can express repressed wishes and desires in a disguised and symbolic manner, making it difficult for the dreamer to recognize their true meaning upon waking. Freud also discusses the role of wish fulfillment in regression. Dreams, influenced by unconscious wishes and desires, provide a means for the fulfillment of these wishes that may not be feasible or acceptable in waking life. The regressive nature of dreams allows the dreamer to experience gratification and satisfaction by revisiting earlier stages of development where these wishes were more readily fulfilled. He suggests that the analysis of regression in dreams provides insights into the individual's psychological makeup, including unresolved conflicts, repressed memories, and unconscious motivations. By understanding the regressive elements in dreams, one can gain a deeper understanding of the individual's psychological development and the underlying factors that shape their thoughts, behaviors, and desires. The chapter concludes with Freud highlighting the significance of regression in dream analysis. Regression allows the dream to access unconscious material, childhood memories, and repressed wishes, providing a window into the inner workings of the individual's mind. By recognizing and interpreting the regressive elements in dreams, one can unravel the hidden meanings and motivations behind the dream content. In summary, Chapter 21 explores the concept of regression in dreams. Freud explains that regression involves the return of mental processes to earlier stages of development and allows the dream to tap into unconscious material and childhood experiences. Regression in dreams can take the form of regressive transformation and regressive representation, leading to the distortion and disguise of the dream content. Regression serves as a means for wish fulfillment, allowing the dreamer to revisit and fulfill repressed desires from earlier stages of development. Analyzing regression in dreams provides insights into the individual's psychological makeup and the underlying factors that shape their thoughts, behaviors, and desires. Recognizing and interpreting the regressive elements in dreams is essential in uncovering the hidden meanings and motivations behind the dream content. Chapter 22. The Function of the Dream. Chapter 22 of The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud is titled, The Function of the Dream. In this chapter, Freud explores the purpose and significance of dreams in the context of mental life and psychological functioning. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in this chapter. Freud begins by addressing the question of why dreams occur and what function they serve in the overall structure of the mind. He argues that dreams are not meaningless or random occurrences but rather have a specific purpose and fulfill important psychological functions. He proposes that the primary function of dreams is wish fulfillment. Dreams allow the individual to satisfy and fulfill their unconscious desires, wishes, and fantasies that are often repressed or restricted in waking life. Dreams provide an outlet for the release of these desires, offering a form of psychological gratification. Freud explains that dreams serve as a compromise between the individual's unconscious desires and the censoring mechanisms of the conscious mind. The dream disguises and distorts the fulfillment of these wishes through various mechanisms such as symbolism, condensation, and displacement, allowing the unacceptable or suppressed material to emerge in a disguised form. He suggests that dreams also have a protective function. They help preserve sleep by preventing external stimuli from waking the dreamer. Dreams act as a guardian of sleep by creating a barrier between the internal world of the mind and the external world, allowing the individual to maintain their state of rest. Freud introduces the concept of dream censorship, which refers to the filtering and censoring process that occurs between the unconscious wish and its conscious expression in the dream. The censoring mechanisms operate to ensure that the latent content of the dream remains hidden and that the dream appears innocuous and non-threatening to the conscious mind. He highlights that dreams often express forbidden or socially unacceptable desires, aggressive impulses, and sexual fantasies. Through the disguise of symbolism and distortion, dreams provide an outlet for the expression of these repressed aspects of the psyche without the individual facing social or moral consequences. Freud suggests that dreams also have a cognitive function. They help process and organize the individual's experiences, memories, and emotions, integrating them into the overall mental framework. Dreams serve as a means for the mind to deal with unresolved conflicts, fears, and anxieties, promoting psychological growth and adaptation. He further argues that dreams have a therapeutic function. Dream analysis and interpretation can provide insights into the individual's unconscious motivations, conflicts, and desires, facilitating self-awareness and psychological healing. By uncovering the latent content of dreams, one can gain a better understanding of the individual's inner world and work towards resolving psychological issues. The chapter concludes with Freud underscoring the multifaceted nature of the dream's function. Dreams serve as a means for wish fulfillment, protection of sleep, expression of repressed desires, cognitive processing, and therapeutic exploration. Understanding the function of dreams is crucial in comprehending the complexities of the human mind and its mechanisms of psychological functioning. In summary, Chapter 22 explores the function of dreams in mental life. Freud proposes that dreams primarily serve the purpose of wish fulfillment, allowing the individual to satisfy unconscious desires and fantasies. Dreams also act as a protective barrier, preserving sleep and shielding the dreamer from external stimuli. They have a cognitive function, helping process and integrate experiences and emotions. Dreams express forbidden or repressed material through symbolism and distortion, providing an outlet for the expression of socially unacceptable desires. Additionally, dreams have a therapeutic function, offering insights into the unconscious motivations and facilitating psychological healing. Recognizing the multiple functions of dreams is essential in understanding the role they play in the human psyche. Chapter 23. The Dream as the Guardian of Sleep. In The Interpretation of Dreams, Sigmund Freud discusses the concept of the dream as the guardian of sleep. This idea suggests that dreams serve a protective function by preventing external stimuli from disrupting the sleep state. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered in relation to the dream as the guardian of sleep. Freud explains that sleep is a vulnerable state in which the individual is susceptible to being awakened by external disturbances. To ensure uninterrupted sleep, the mind employs a mechanism that protects against these disturbances. This protective mechanism is the dream. The dream acts as a guardian by creating a barrier between the internal world of the mind and the external world. It serves as a filter that shields the dreamer from the impact of external stimuli, allowing them to maintain their state of rest. When external stimuli manage to penetrate the dream, they are often incorporated into the dream content in a distorted or symbolically transformed manner. This process, known as dream censorship, helps maintain the integrity of sleep by preventing the dreamer from being fully awakened. Freud suggests that the dream censorship is related to the operation of the ego, the part of the mind responsible for mediating between the demands of the unconscious and the constraints of reality. The ego's function is to maintain a balance between these two forces, and dream censorship serves as a protective measure in this regard. The dream censorship ensures that the latent content of the dream, which represents the unconscious wishes and desires, remains hidden from the conscious mind. It achieves this by transforming the latent content into manifest content, which is the actual content experienced by the dreamer upon waking. Through the use of symbolism, displacement, and condensation, the dream censorship disguises and distorts the fulfillment of unconscious desires, making them appear innocuous and non-threatening to the conscious mind. This allows the dreamer to experience wish fulfillment without fully recognizing or acknowledging the true nature of the dream's content. Freud also notes that the dream's role as the guardian of sleep is connected to the principle of relaxation. During sleep, the mind experiences a relaxation of censorship, allowing unconscious material to emerge more freely. The dream acts as a buffer, processing and expressing this material while maintaining the sleep state. It's important to note that the concept of the dream as the guardian of sleep is one aspect of the multifaceted nature of dreams. Dreams also serve other functions, such as wish fulfillment, cognitive processing, and therapeutic exploration, as discussed in other chapters of Freud's book. In summary, the dream as the guardian of sleep is a concept put forth by Freud in The Interpretation of Dreams. It suggests that dreams serve a protective function by creating a barrier between the internal and external worlds, preventing external stimuli from disrupting sleep. Dream censorship plays a crucial role in maintaining the integrity of sleep by disguising and distorting the fulfillment of unconscious wishes and desires. Understanding the dream's role as the guardian of sleep contributes to our understanding of the complex mechanisms of the mind during the sleep state. Chapter 24. The primary and secondary process in the dream. In The Interpretation of Dreams, Sigmund Freud introduces the concepts of the primary and secondary processes in relation to the dream. These processes represent different modes of functioning in the mind and play a significant role in the formation and interpretation of dreams. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered regarding the primary and secondary process in the dream. 1. The primary process. Freud defines the primary process as the mode of functioning of the unconscious mind. It is characterized by the absence of logical constraints, the dominance of the pleasure principle, and the lack of differentiation between fantasy and reality. The primary process is associated with the expression of unconscious wishes and desires. It operates through the use of condensed, symbolic, and often bizarre imagery, without regard for temporal or spatial coherence. In this process, psychic energy, or libido, flows freely, seeking immediate gratification of desires. Dreams are considered a manifestation of the primary process. They represent a fulfillment of repressed or suppressed unconscious wishes, which are disguised and transformed into symbolic forms to bypass conscious censorship. 2. The secondary process. The secondary process, in contrast to the primary process, represents the mode of functioning of the conscious mind. It is governed by the reality principle, logical thinking, and the constraints of the external world. The secondary process involves rational thought, judgment, and the ability to differentiate between reality and fantasy. It operates to regulate and control the expression of unconscious desires, conforming to societal norms and constraints. The secondary process is responsible for the transformation of the latent content of dreams into manifest content. It introduces logical coherence, temporal order, and narrative structure to make the dream content more understandable to the conscious mind. The primary and secondary processes are not mutually exclusive but interact with each other. The primary process generates the raw material of dreams, while the secondary process modifies and interprets this material in a way that is acceptable to the conscious mind. 3. Dream work. The dream work refers to the processes that occur during the formation of dreams, where the latent content is transformed into the manifest content. The dream work involves several mechanisms, including condensation, displacement, symbolization, and secondary elaboration. These mechanisms contribute to the distortion, displacement, and symbolism observed in dreams. The dream work is influenced by both the primary and secondary processes. The primary process provides the raw material and wishes, while the secondary process shapes and organizes this material to create a coherent dream narrative. Dream analysis aims to uncover the latent content of dreams by deciphering the dream work and understanding the symbolic representations of unconscious desires and conflicts. In summary, Freud's concept of the primary and secondary processes in the dream highlights the different modes of functioning in the mind. The primary process, associated with the unconscious, operates through the pleasure principle and represents the expression of unconscious desires. The secondary process, linked to the conscious mind, adheres to the reality principle and serves to regulate and interpret the unconscious material in a logical and acceptable manner. The dream work encompasses the processes involved in the transformation of unconscious wishes into the manifest content of dreams. Understanding the interplay between the primary and secondary processes provides insights into the formation and interpretation of dreams, allowing for a deeper understanding of the unconscious motivations and desires of the dreamer. Chapter 25. The Unconscious and Consciousness Reality. In The Interpretation of Dreams, Sigmund Freud explores the relationship between the unconscious and consciousness, as well as the concept of reality as it pertains to the dream. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered regarding the unconscious, consciousness, and reality. 1. The unconscious mind. Freud posits the existence of an unconscious part of the mind that contains repressed thoughts, desires, and memories. The unconscious represents a realm of mental activity that is inaccessible to conscious awareness but exerts a powerful influence on behavior and experience. Dreams are seen as a window into the unconscious. They provide a means of accessing and understanding the hidden contents of the mind, particularly the repressed wishes and desires that find expression through symbolic imagery in dreams. 2. Consciousness and reality. Consciousness refers to the state of awareness of external stimuli and internal mental processes. It encompasses the thoughts, perceptions, feelings, and sensations that we are currently aware of. Freud distinguishes between two aspects of reality: the external reality, which consists of the objective world around us, and the internal reality, which includes our subjective experiences, fantasies, and mental representations. Dreams occupy a space between these two realities. They contain elements derived from external reality but are also shaped by the internal reality of the dreamer's unconscious wishes, desires, and fantasies. 3. Dream reality. Freud argues that dreams create a subjective reality that feels real to the dreamer while they are dreaming. In this dream reality, the laws of logic, time, and space can be distorted or suspended. Dream experiences often involve impossible or fantastical scenarios. The dream's reality is influenced by the primary process thinking of the unconscious mind, which is characterized by a lack of logical constraints and a focus on wish fulfillment. Thus, the dream may present wish-fulfilling scenarios that would be unattainable or unacceptable in waking life. While dreams can incorporate elements from external reality, they transform and distort them through various mechanisms such as condensation, displacement, and symbolism. The dream's content may be a composite of different experiences, memories, and emotions fused together in a unique way. For interpretation and reality, Freud emphasizes the importance of interpreting dreams to uncover the latent content and understand their hidden meaning. Dream analysis involves deciphering the symbolic representations and repressed desires expressed in the dream. The interpretation of dreams requires considering both the manifest content, the actual dream images and events, and the latent content, the underlying unconscious wishes and desires. Through analysis, the dreamer can gain insight into their unconscious motivations and conflicts, leading to a deeper understanding of their psychological life. However, Freud acknowledges that dream interpretation does not provide a direct route to external reality. Dreams are not transparent reflections of waking life events but rather representations of internal processes and unconscious material. In summary, Freud's exploration of the unconscious and consciousness in relation to dreams highlights the complex interplay between internal and external realities. Dreams offer a glimpse into the unconscious mind and its hidden desires, while also creating a subjective reality that deviates from the rules of waking life. Understanding the symbolic language of dreams and interpreting their latent content can unveil the unconscious motivations and conflicts that shape our psychological experiences. While dreams incorporate elements from external reality, they do not provide a direct reflection of it. Instead, Dreams offer insights into the inner workings of the mind, helping individuals gain a deeper understanding of themselves and their unconscious desires. Conclusion: Psychoanalysis and the dream. In The Interpretation of Dreams, Sigmund Freud explores the role of psychoanalysis in understanding and interpreting dreams. He emphasizes the significance of dreams as a valuable source of insight into the unconscious mind and employs psychoanalytic techniques to unravel their hidden meanings. Here is a concise summary of the main ideas and important points covered regarding psychoanalysis and the dream. 1. Unconscious desires and symbols. Freud proposes that dreams are the fulfillment of unconscious desires and wishes. These desires are often repressed or unacceptable to the conscious mind, and they find expression in the symbolism and imagery of dreams. Psychoanalysis seeks to uncover the latent content of dreams by interpreting these symbols and understanding their underlying meanings. 2. Free association. Freud introduces the technique of free association as a fundamental tool in dream analysis. By encouraging the dreamer to freely express their thoughts, feelings, and associations related to the dream images, the analyst can explore the unconscious connections and unveil the hidden motivations behind the dream content. 3. Dream work and condensation. Freud describes the dream work, which refers to the processes that transform unconscious wishes into the manifest content of dreams. Condensation is one of the mechanisms employed by the dream work, where multiple thoughts, desires, or emotions are combined into a single dream image or symbol. Psychoanalysis aims to unravel the condensed elements and uncover the underlying conflicts and desires they represent. 4. Displacement and symbolization. Another aspect of the dream work is displacement, wherein the emotional intensity of an unconscious wish is shifted from its original source to a less threatening or more acceptable target. Psychoanalysis seeks to identify and understand these displacements, recognizing the true nature of the repressed desires. Symbolization is another important aspect of dream analysis. Dreams often use symbols to represent unconscious thoughts and wishes. Psychoanalysis explores the personal and cultural meanings associated with these symbols to uncover their significance in the dreamer's psyche. 5. The interpretation process. Freud emphasizes the importance of the analyst's role in interpreting dreams. Through their knowledge of psychoanalytic theory, symbolism, and the patient's personal history, the analyst assists in uncovering the unconscious meaning of the dream content. The interpretation process involves a collaborative effort between the analyst and the dreamer, with the analyst providing insights and interpretations while the dreamer provides associations and personal context. 6. Dream analysis and self-knowledge. The ultimate goal of dream analysis within psychoanalysis is to increase self-awareness and gain insight into the unconscious mind. By understanding the hidden desires, fears, and conflicts expressed in dreams, individuals can better understand their own psychological processes and make conscious choices in their lives. In summary, psychoanalysis plays a central role in the interpretation of dreams. It aims to uncover the hidden meanings and unconscious desires expressed in dreams through techniques such as free association, analysis of symbols, and understanding the mechanisms of dream work. By exploring the latent content of dreams, psychoanalysis provides a pathway to self-knowledge and a deeper understanding of one's psychological life.